asking Tinubu to forgive Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is quite mischievous and misconceived. What was the offense of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? So Actor Eze is an accomplished philanthropist, business mogul, politician, or whatever you may call him. And of course, he, by his submission, admitted to have experienced the war, the Biafran War, where he claims that 7 people of his closest kinsmen lost their life as a result of such war, blaming the younger generations that they should not farm the embers of war. Now, the question to us, with all due respect, is this: as in the interest of public understanding of what transpired, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not committed on any offense against the Nigerian state. Of course, the Supreme Court affirms his innocency, that he never jumped bail. An attempt to his life led to him scoring for safety. And again, the appeal court within the Nigerian legal jurisprudence has affirmed the innocency of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The count charges that was levied against him was quashed by the appeal court. And for this reason, there is no other court within the Nigeria that have indicted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as it stands now. Of course, the Attorney General of Justice said that the judgment will be reviewed, and just as we are saying today, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu rejected the resumption of the trial because nothing to try. If the 15 count charges that have been reviewed on several occasions were finally squashed and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was released and discharged, some were arguing that he was discharged but not acquitted. You can imagine such a technical jargons used to thwart the position, a clear position of verdict given by the appellate court of law. Some are trying to make excuses, irrelevant excuses that has no basis as far as legal profession or legal vocabularies are concerned. Once someone is discharged, acquitted is the same thing. And once the charges levied against someone or an accused is quashed, what else do you try him for? That is very fundamental. You don't try him just for not being guilty. What you have to do is to release him. His freedom, of course, must be respected. Now, for Dr. Sir Actor Eze coming to say that Mazi Tinubu should forgive Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is extending the oppression of the oppressors, giving the oppressors opportunity to extend the oppressions against the indigenous people of Biafra. Acting within the ambit of the law, they have the inalienable right, has been affirmed by the United Nations. Of course, right to self-determination and the right of the people. As the Vice President of Nigeria, Shetima, in the recent concluded United Nations General Assembly, categorically affirmed that the right to freedom, the right to self-determination is an inalienable right given to God by to men that cannot be usurped, that cannot be denied any people. It's an inalienable right given to God, to men, to the people that cannot be denied. And the United Nations Human Rights protect this natural and inalienable right. That people has the right to expression, they have the right to self-determination, to decide and their own and choose their own political future or affinity. Now, if Dr. Arthur Eze or Sir Arthur Eze will come up with this connotation that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be pardoned on what occasion, on what instance? He cited the people that died during the Civil War. Under 1 year of Tinubu's administration, over 600,000 was recorded dead as a result of escalations of insecurity, activities of the non-government, Boko Haram, the ISWAP, and all that. Just to say the least, those that were able to be captured. But in real sense, it is far beyond what the paper reports. But the paper was able to admit over 600,000 Nigerians who lost their life in 365 days. In 365 days. Now, what kind of war can people lose their life in such magnitude? Just in 1 year, from insurgency, from insecurity rocking the entire country. We are not talking about people who died as a result of starvation, as a result of poor health facilities, as a result of the bad roads, of course, the deplorable states of the road networks, accidents, and all that. These were not captured in these particular statistics, even as people criticize the veracity of such assertion that this could be far higher than been speculated or reported in national newspapers. So there is no justification asking Tinubu to forgive Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has the right to self-determination. He has the right to freedom. He has the right to decide his political future and affiliations as long as they consider their existence and life being threatened within Nigerian configuration. Just as what is happening today, we have seen the International Criminal Court conducting a prolonged investigation over the Igbo massacre during the Buhari's regime. I will use the word regime because his actions and antecedents does not suggest that we are in a democratic setting where the unguided utterances that you are going to teach them the lesson they will understand. You are going to reduce them, wipe them off. They are just a dot. That is genocidal threat. And of course, he has been invited. Well, that is for another day. But Actor Eze asking Tinubu to forgive Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an insult on the intelligence of the Igbo people. An average Igbo man will not want to accept that. Now, the Fulani or the Arewas gave a threat to Tinubu's administration that if he fails or his government fails to release the leader of Miyetti Allah, that the Fulani militias will go agog. Fulani militias will destabilize the entire country. This was a threat. A man who, by virtue of the provisions of the law, contravened the position of the law by empowering his own security outfit or militias with guns without the approval of the federal government. And yet, the Fulani militias has carried out so many dastard actions, killings across the regions of this country. Yet they pose a threat, they challenge the Tinubu's administration that if he is not released so time, that they will burn down the country. And eventually, the Attorney General of Justice of the Federation came, I think Fabemi then, came and said, in the interest of public peace and justice, they are releasing Mieti Anla leader. Now, Sunday Igbohu is also there. Sowore, that was also accused of treasoning, was also released in the interest of justice and public peace. Why is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu different? Even when he has obtained judgments from the Nigerian court of law, which affirm his innocency, that even so, to the extent that Supreme Court also affirms that the rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is outlawed, is out of place. Nigerian court affirms that. Appeal court affirms that. That no, Nigeria has no right to try him within the Nigerian legal jurisdiction because of that extraordinary rendition, a violation of international laws and treaty bordering on extradition. And yet, we see the Igbo politicians or business moguls pretending as if the Igbo, an average Igbo man, is a slave and should be treated in the light of this. It's very unfortunate and unacceptable to condition an Igbo man to be seen as a slave. Why you see the Mieti Anla, the Fulanis were vocal. Everybody was speaking, attacking, demanding with ultimatum, without any condition, that Tinubu must release Mieti Anla president. And eventually they did, because they understand the consequences, that these people are ready to challenge even the security operatives if that becomes necessary. Now, a man carrying a placard asking for justice and equity and the preservation of his and his people's rights to live and the rights to cultural preservations and the preservations of the posterity, now is considered as a slave, somebody that is guilty for asking his freedom, for asking for independence, for being a freedom fighter. Not that he took up arms and began to raid or ravage communities, kill people in the north, grab lands in the southwest, grab land in the middle belt, and all that. He's been considered guilty, even by his own people, who should have known better. Referring to the civil war is not necessary at this time. In fact, he is trying to end the war because the war has not ended. The civil war has not ended. Otherwise, the continued oppression, subjugation, and marginalization of the Igbo people and their brothers, Eastern brothers, would have been a thing of the past. We saw what happened, what played out during Buhari's time, how he played out ethnic sentiments against the Eastern people, even in his appointment and all that. We've seen that repeatedly. Even in Tinubu's administration, of course, the North is now accusing Tinubu of playing ethnocracy, the government of ethnicity, only appointing and surrounding himself with the Yoruba people without considering the federal quota and allocations, of course, for justice and all that. But nobody is carrying it out. If you are to be Igbo people now, that would be the widest offense. the strongest offense. How can the Igbo man occupy this and all that? Unfortunately, the Igbo people are the one reducing themselves to the dustbin. How can you ask someone who is not guilty and have not been convicted of any crime? The legal counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been demanding that why is the Attorney General of Justice failed to resume the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu after 1 hour, 1 year of setting aside the judgment that upheld the innocency of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No explanation. But after 1 year after, of course, the suspension of that verdict, without any justifiable instance or reason given, they are still, of course, playing games with that. And here comes an Igbo man, an elder statesman, of course, in as much as I respect him by all indication, but as far as opinion is concerned, I do not align with his own thoughts pattern. I do not. And likewise, millions or several thousands or tens of millions of Biafran or Easterners do not accept such because it's an indictment to the integrity of an average Igbo man. Asking Tinubu to pardon. Why the Boko Haram that have been killing, massacring different communities, different regions, ethnic nationality within this Nigeria is being pardoned and reintegrated into the security architecture within the Nigerian states. People who has been killing, even when most of them was reintegrated according to them, they were de-radicalized, they know how. Eventually, they carted away with the weapons and armories, with the uniform, and left, abandoned the Nigerian government and military, and went back to their own people. Continue the same business they have been indoctrinated into. It's unfortunate and it's unacceptable to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the light of this current realities. He is not guilty and have not been convicted of any crime. In fact, people were expecting for his release. So you can't insult the intelligence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or insult or abuse the right of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to his freedom, as the courts have affirmed. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditionally. These are the advocacy, even local and international, has been demanded. So whatever it takes Ahmed Bola Tinubu to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be in the interest of justice and public peace. For peace to return to the eastern region, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have to be released unconditionally, because an average Igbo man perceives it to be a shared injustice, and it's unacceptable by any responsible Igbo man. So asking for Tinubu to forgive is unacceptable and very, by my own opinion, ridiculous.